Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5.
A West Fargo man is behind bars after officers say they found several files of child pornography on his computer. 22-year-old Trevor Carpenter is charged with 13 counts of felony possession of prohibited materials. Valley News Team's crime and safety reporter Bailey Hurley talked with Carpenter's former classmates today who say they're still in shock. She joins us in the studio now with our story. Bailey.
Andrea, court documents say the investigation into Carpenter started when looking into a network offenders used to share child pornography. And investigators soon found Carpenter's IP address had downloaded several files of teenage girls involved in sex acts. Officers executed a search warrant at Carpenter's West Fargo apartment last week, finding pictures and videos of young girls between the ages of 12 and 16 on his devices. Officers also found videos titled Capture, which documents say Carpenter used to record video chats where he appeared to offer money to individuals if they exposed themselves. Documents say one of those individuals told Carpenter she was just 16 years old. Now, I talked with some of Carpenter's former classmates today who say they still can't believe the news, saying this isn't anything like the Trevor Carpenter they knew.
Immediately, I jumped out of bed and was like, I cannot believe this. I messaged some friends I still talk from high school, and they just did not believe it. I personally thought he was a good kid. I never saw something like this happen.
Carpenter's Class C felony carries up to 5 years in prison or a $10,000 fine. He'll be back in court next month. Andrea?
All right, Bailey. Thank you. New information coming out tonight as police say 26-year-old Joel Schramm is identified as the man who died following a rollover accident in Grand Forks. Investigators say emergency crews responded to a report of a crash scene near the 2300 block of North Washington just after midnight and found Schramm dead in a vehicle that had rolled. According to police, it doesn't appear Schramm was wearing a seatbelt. They say it's not known yet if alcohol or drugs were factors in the crash. We are rolling into the nicest part of our day, but the most unusual part of the day came earlier. Showers of snow pellets. This photo coming to us from a viewer, Liz Bassett, taken in West Fargo this morning. Let's head over to our First Alert Storm Team and Hutch, who has your No Wait weather planner. Hutch?
Thanks so much, Andrea. It was definitely a meteorological smorgasbord. We had places that got just flat out snow. Some of us had that rain sound, and you went to look out the window and you saw this. I'll tell you what, temperatures outside today rebounded pretty nicely, and most of what we did see melted away as the sun rose in the sky. Temperatures this evening with a northwest wind that will be decreasing will not be hot, but look at that pleasant sky out there. Blue, and we'll be in the 20s on our way down to the teens as we go through the overnight. Grand Forks, well, the sun continues to keep things on the mild side. Wind, not quite as wild as it was earlier today. We do have more wintry weather in store, Andrea, for your Wednesday forecast. I'll have the first details on that, your forecast, here in just a few moments.
All right, we count on it. Thank you, Hutch. Police in the metro are working to learn the identity of an elderly man after he was found dead in the North Dakota State College of Science parking lot. The call came in around 7:20 this morning to the campus on 19th Avenue in Fargo, citing an unknown problem with an elderly man in his car. When police arrived, they discovered the man was dead. He has not yet been identified. No foul play is suspected at this time, but the scene is still under investigation. If you haven't had a chance to get out and vote, there is still time. Today is Super Tuesday, and 1,300 delegates are on the line as voters in 14 states are casting their ballots for the Democratic nominee. We got a chance to speak with some voters in the metro as they made their way to the polls on this Super Tuesday.
I did lose a few of my favorite candidates along the way. There was a couple people that I approved of their message, but they were very, very much underdogs. I don't think Trump is going to roll over, and I don't think Trump supporters are going to roll over. I think it's going to be a battle.
Tonight, polls close at 8 o'clock. Millions of Americans are casting their ballots in today's Super Tuesday primary contests. Former Vice President Joe Biden is hoping to capitalize on his big South Carolina win and a wave of new endorsements. But Senator Bernie Sanders says he's still the best candidate to win the White House. Natalie Brand reports from the Super Tuesday state of Virginia.
Joe Biden is spending Super Tuesday in the state with the most delegates at stake tonight, California. The former vice president won endorsements from 3 former presidential hopefuls on the eve of primary season's single largest voting day, spanning 14 states and American Samoa.
Get one, Bernie.
Senator Bernie Sanders casts his ballot in his home state of Vermont. Heading into Super Tuesday, Sanders leads in delegates and polling in states with the biggest prizes tonight.
We have the grassroots movement all over this country. Up to now, we have knocked on, I believe, some 2 million doors all across this country, from Maine to California.
While the 11th hour departure of 2 candidates could start to consolidate party moderates, voters remain divided over who should top the Democratic ticket.
I admire Bernie very much, and I think that he has the best shot at getting the current president out of the office.
After seeing who was left, I felt like Joe Biden was our safe bet.
But gambling on an unorthodox approach, billionaire Mike Bloomberg. He skipped earlier contests and bet big on Super Tuesday. Now he's already in Florida, which votes later this month.
You don't have to win states, you have to win delegates.
Do you want a contested convention?
Well, I don't think that I can win any other ways.
Senator Elizabeth Warren has also hinted at a contested convention. She voted in her home state, Massachusetts, this morning.
I'm here today because I believe in you.
She spends the evening in Michigan, one of several states voting next week. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Alexandria, Virginia.
Mike Bloomberg has spent more than $233 million on Super Tuesday ads, about 10 times the amount of money spent by the Biden, Sanders, and Warren campaigns combined. There's a lot on the line for Elizabeth Warren. She is in jeopardy of being the next candidate to drop out of the race. The host of Full Court Press with Greta Van Susteren, seen here every Sunday morning, says Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders could win in Warren's backyard.
We didn't talk about Elizabeth Warren. She was front runner in the summer, front runner in the fall, and then she tanked. Well, tonight, her home state of Massachusetts is on Super Tuesday, and if she doesn't win in her home state, she's in. I don't know how she goes on.
Last night, Bernie Sanders held a rally in Boston in his bid to steal Massachusetts, where there are 91 delegates at stake. North Dakota health officials are providing a plan on their efforts to help prevent the spread of COVID-19. No cases have been reported in North Dakota, and the risk remains low. Although many other states have expressed concerns about what's called community spread, officials say North Dakotans play a key role in reducing the impact in the state. Today, health officials laid out guidelines on how people can reduce their risk of infection. That includes washing your hands, covering coughs, and cleaning frequently touched surfaces. If you have traveled to certain countries, watch for symptoms of a respiratory illness for 14 days after returning. That includes fever, cough, and shortness of breath. And call your doctor if you develop symptoms. The spread of the coronavirus has prompted the Federal Reserve to cut its key interest rate in a bid to boost the economy. Chairman Jerome Powell announcing the surprise move in Washington, D.C. today. It's the central bank's largest rate cut since the 2008 financial crisis. And it's the first time since that crisis that the Fed has cut its benchmark interest rate outside of a policy meeting.
I don't think anybody knows how long it will be. I do know that the U.S. economy is strong, and we will get to the other side of this. And I fully expect that we'll return to solid growth and a solid labor market.
Powell says board members saw a risk to the economy and chose to act. A North Dakota zoo is mourning the loss of a popular tiger. The director of Chihinkapa Zoo in Wahpeton says Hobbs, a 550-pound Bengal tiger, is the second tiger to have died in about a year. Hobbs was born on March 30th, 2003, and was picked up from the Wildlife World Zoo in Arizona, along with his sister Nina. Nina died in 2019. It is the Super Bowl of the cheese industry. The World Championship Cheese Contest is underway in Wisconsin. Cheesemakers from all over the world will be at the Monona Terrace Community and Convention Center in Madison to compete in the contest. Last year, Wisconsin had 10 cheesemakers make it into the top 10. This year is the largest cheese contest with more than 3,200 entries.